Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video on Prize Picks. Today I got plays for you for NBA Wednesday. So we got quite a few games lined up in this slate. Looks like we got 6 games right here. The ones that I'm really going to be focusing a ton on is going to be this Lakers versus Spurs game. I'm sure a ton of you guys are going to be locked into that one. But we do have at least one play for every single one of these games. So we're going to get into all that. But first up, do me a favor, drop a like on this video. And also consider subscribing to the channel. I drop plays every single day, whether that be NBA, NFL, college football, and soon college basketball. We're going to get to start that more involved. But I drop plays every single day, and I don't miss a single day. So make sure you guys subscribe. You don't want to miss any uploads. Now, one thing you also want to make sure you're doing is hopping on the Winnable. The Winnable is where I drop free plays every single day. So make sure you guys are sign up on the Winnable. It is winnable.com/bam. That's the first link in the description of this video. And now let's go ahead and talk about this first game that we've got on our slate. We're just going to go game by game. We got the Jazz taking on the Detroit Pistons. So in this one, Cade Cunningham, of course, is a major story. He's been absolutely lights out this season. But the problem is his line is super high, right? His line is really, really high right now, sitting at 28.5. And the main reason is because the Jazz defense is not all that great, right? The Jazz defense, especially when going up against guards, not that great, right? When it comes to taking on big men, they're a little bit better. But when it goes up against the guards, look at what Devin Booker was able to do, 36 and then 34, right? Now, Devin Booker is also an insane player who has been playing lights out. But Cade Cunningham, 28.5 seems like a solid play. We're going to go over to the assists, though, in this one. And we're taking a look at him at 9.5. I know I just said the other one was a high line. This line is very high as well, but I do like Cade on the over at 9.5 assists, and let me tell you why. So this is going to be a high scoring game, almost guaranteed, because the total points are 231.5. That's the projected total for this one. Detroit's projected to win by 11 points, right? So that's basically what you got to know. That's important to check out the betting spreads going into the game. But if you can see right there in the bottom corner, assists allowed, green 29, which basically means this Jazz team allows the 29th most, right? So, or I guess the 29th least. How do I say it? They are a bottom 2 defense when it comes to assists allowed. They allow a ridiculous amount of assists to their opponents, and that's exactly why you want to see something like this. Cade Cunningham, 9.5 assists. And you also look down there, D rank versus position. This is what you guys got to look at, advanced stats, or just watch somebody who really studies this stuff, somebody like me who does it every single day, right? D rank versus position, right? So how do the Jazz match up against guards? They're 30th out of 30. They are the worst team in the league at defending and matching up against guards. Someone exactly like Cade Cunningham, not just a guard, ball handler, defensive zone, paint, right? So dominant shooting zone is in the paint. He's also PNR ball handler, right? Pick and roll ball handler. That's exactly what Cade Cunningham does the best, right? Pick and roll with Jalen Duren. Asar Thompson is such a good player. You can literally put him anywhere. I think he's going to be elite in this league. And then when you look at the other side of the ball, right? The one player we have to talk about is Lauri Markkanen. He has been on fire. It's insane because so many players have been playing insane. 51 points against the Suns was his huge play, right? But he also has been he's dropped 20 plus in every single game, right? So that's a super solid parlay piece, I should say. If you want a parlay piece, Lauri Markkanen 20 plus points, right? Just take it right there. Lauri Markkanen 20 plus points. Drop it into your parlay. It'll probably be like, I mean, if his line is at 26, I'm going to guess the 20 plus points will probably be around minus 400, minus 300, somewhere around there. I like that one there, right? We're not going to talk about any more plays in this Jazz versus Pistons game. We're going over to the Boston. We're in the Boston versus Washington game, right? So Boston are, of course, the favorites in this one because the Wizards are buns, right? We all know this. The Boston are favored by 11.5 points, and the game total is exactly where the other one was at 231, right? So Jaylen Brown has been a bunch of ups and downs this season, right? All over the place, but they kind of need him. Every time that he does poorly, they seem to struggle, right? So against the Knicks, they lost by 10 points. Here they actually won by 32 points, and Jaylen Brown went under, but that's because they didn't play any minutes. He didn't play very many minutes, right? 24 is not as usual, and it's because the Pelicans are a terrible team, right? The Pelicans are an absolutely garbage team. This time, once again, he only played 22 minutes, and then they lost by 27 points, right? So that's why I would be a little bit hesitant about taking Jaylen Brown on the over here against the Wizards, because this could be a blowout, right? The Celtics are good enough and they shoot enough threes to where any Celtics game could be a blowout, but especially one against the Wizards where the Wizards could honestly just not score for like 10 minutes straight. The Celtics could hit 10 threes, and then boom, that's a 30-point difference. Jaylen Brown is sitting his butt on the bench because why would you need to do anything more than that, right? But a guy who I like a lot is actually Anthony Simons on the threes. So if you can get him at 1.5 threes, that's where I like it. It's more of a parlay piece, but I expect him to shoot a ton of threes in this game because if you look at the opposing defense, 24th, right, which means 53% of his shots come out from obviously above the point break threes, and they are the 24th defense against defending that, right? So they're bottom 6 defense at defending the three ball, especially right up here, and in the corner, they're bottom 4 defense, right? So this Wizards team, not very good at defending, period, but very not good at defending the three ball. So I like this play a lot. Now, before we move into the next game, I want to talk to you about my VIP passes. There's a ton of VIP passes, but what I am talking about right now is how you can get an entire week for free of VIP. All you have to do is text the word VIP to this number right here, and I'll get you on one of these apps down here, and you'll get a free week of VIP. And now that we're here, let's talk about how you can get some more free money. It is signing up on Dabble and signing up on Better with code FFBAM. So these are the only 5 letters you need. Once you download this app, it'll ask you for a couple basic details. Put in that code, and you will get a free $25 just like that. You don't have to deposit at all. Limited time sign up offer. They usually put this on for like a month or so, and then they take it off for like another 5 months. So right now, I'm telling you guys, this offer is live. Claim your free $25. If you're in any of these purple colored states right here, you are eligible to hop on Dabble. And if you're in any one of these purple states on the right here, you are eligible to hop on Better. They give you a free $10, but then once you deposit, there's a huge promo offer. And they also have Wemby at 0.5 on a few of these apps right now. Wemby's obviously going up against the Lakers tonight, so that's going to be a massive one. It would be great for you to get on a new app and start off with a discount. Code is FFBAM for Dabble and for Better. Now, let's move into the next game. Wolves versus Knicks. Thought I missed one back here. Wolves versus Knicks. So, Jalen Brunson, this is one of these plays. I have no idea why Jalen Brunson's line is at 26.5. Every single other player that has been averaging 30, their line has jumped up to 28.5 or 29.5 like that. Jalen Brunson, for whatever reason, his line stays stagnant. 26.5 is around where it usually is. And then it was creeping up to 28.5 after he had these 2 decent games against the Bulls. Then he dropped a stinker against the Wizards where he really he went 6 of 17, right? It was a pretty bad game, right? But I call it a stinker, but they still won by 17 points. So you can't really, he got the dub at the end of the day. His stats didn't look great. He dropped that bad game, and then boom, his line is back down to 26.5. It's almost like they've erased all this data that we've seen of Jalen Brunson being a great basketball player. And when it comes to this, defensive rank versus DPT right here. Look at this, right? So he is a pick and roll ball handler. And against pick and roll ball handlers, what is the best defense to face against pick and roll ball handlers? I'm trying to get this stat on the screen for you. There it is the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's the exact matchup he has right now. They are literally the best possible matchup for him. Pick and roll ball handlers. Jalen Brunson does exactly that every single night. That's literally his bread and butter, and the Wolves can't defend it. So why would we not take Brunson right here? So you could take him on assists at 6.5. Absolutely love that play. You could also take him on straight points. I don't hate taking him on points plus assists. This seems like the kind of place where I don't want to hedge a little bit of a midline between those 2 plays. But yeah, that's all that I got about that. Let's move into Rockets versus Grizzlies. This is one that you just got to stay away from Ja Morant, man. It's really sad what's going on with Ja right now. Team is trying to turn their back on him. NBA, of course, as an association, has had their problems with Ja in the past, and it just seems like right now Ja Morant's kind of getting left behind. That's what a lot of people are saying around there, and I got to agree. I got to feel the same way. And when it comes to taking this over or his under, I just can't feel at all safe about telling you guys to take either side of that, because it seems like he could go out there and just give zero effort, and some nights he goes out there and he actually tries and he plays his heart out. And we want to bet on players who are always going to be trying, right? It's just ridiculous taking Ja Morant right here. Honestly, if you put any money on Ja, you're probably just, it's like flipping a coin, right? It's like flipping a coin right now. So that's not the kind of market that I want to be in. But a guy who has been ridiculously consistent is Cedric Coward. I was talking about parlay pieces. Cedric Coward, 10 plus points. Chuck it into your parlays. Cedric Coward, 5 plus rebounds. Chuck it into your parlays. He started a little slow. Since then, 10 rebounds, 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds, right? These aren't against easy teams, right? 10 rebounds against Lakers, very impressive for Coward. So, Cedric Coward is the name you want to be talking about when it comes to the Grizzlies. So far, last few years, everybody hears the Memphis Grizzlies and think of one man. They think of Ja Morant. Whether that's positive light, whether that's a negative light, whatever's going on with Ja, the drama, that's exactly what they think about. Soon it's going to be different, right? You got Jaren Jackson Jr. in the come up, and their rookie, Cedric Coward, I'm pretty sure they selected him 11th or 12th in this draft, has been absolutely insane, right? When it comes to just impact on the floor, offensive, defensive, he's not filling up the stat sheet or anything. He dropped 27 against the Indiana Pacers in third every game, so that's pretty massive, right? But 13.5 on his points. I like it on the over, but I'd prefer if you moved it down a little bit, take him there. And then also the rebounds right here. Only problem is, right now he's facing a tough matchup in the Houston Rockets, but I'm just telling you, keep this man on your radar because the Houston Rockets are a tough matchup, but he's not always going to be facing them, right? He has been unreal this season. Absolutely unreal, and we're not even 10 games in, right? This is an 82-game season. I would not be surprised by the end of those 82 games. He is a clear number one guy on this team, right? I would not be surprised because he's just that impactful. Kind of reminds me of the similar impact of Draymond Green, right? When it comes to his defensive end, that's the ceiling for him, right? Call me crazy, but I've watched this man's tape a lot more than probably most of you guys, and that's what I think, right? Go watch it yourself. Let me know in the comments what do you think. But let's move into play number 2, which is going to be on the Rockets side, of course. And once again, we like Alperen Şengün. I like taking him on the over at 5.5. It seems like if you take him at 6.5, you're getting it at plus money across the board, so plus 105 or whatever. But I just move that down to 5.5. Take him right there. He's hitting every single game at 5.5. It's just a great play. Honestly, what else more do you want me to say, right? But we're going to skip over a couple of these games because time's running short and nobody really wants to watch the Pelicans. So there goes Pelicans versus Mavs. Let's talk about Heat versus Nuggets in this one. Jokic on points. I'm not going to compare Jokic to Ja Morant, but Jokic is one of those players that it honestly seems like sometimes he tries to go for the buckets and sometimes he honestly thinks that passing the ball is just going to be, that's just what I'm going to do tonight, right? It's weird when you watch Jokic because he's just that dominant that it seems like it's his choice the way that he wants to play the game, right? It's not what is the defense giving me. Of course, it's partly that, but he's got an ability to win against the defense on so many levels that it's really just where does he want to play, right? But when it comes to the rebounds, his line is so high. His line is absolutely insanely high at 12.5. And this one against the Heat, I don't like it, right? A lot of people are going to hate on me for fading Jokic, but I don't like it right here. I think the under on his PRA is probably the best spot, right? Jokic could drop in a ridiculous game, right? Jokic could drop 70 PRA and just make me look like an idiot. But his line is still so high for someone who is consistently going under. It makes no sense for you to continue taking this. And it's not like he's a bad player. Look at this. He has been winning several of these games, right? And at least been playing them close, right? Against tough teams like the Warriors. He's been playing very well in these games. But he's just not filling up the stat sheet as much as he could, right? 41 minutes he played and overtime, he only dropped 44 PRA, right? Now he plays up against a decent Heat defense. 48.5 is the line. I do like it on the under. But we're finally getting into the game that everybody wants to talk about. Spurs versus Lakers, right? Luka Doncic, man, is averaging 41 a night, right? But then we're also going to go over and talk about Wembanyama, who's averaging 26 a night and nearly 5 blocks every single time he steps on the court. So, number one play, like I said before, Wemby at 0.5 points. Make sure you're claiming this. This is only available when you sign up on Better. Better with code FFBAM. Dabble's going to give you $25 for free. Better's going to give you $10 for free and a Wemby free square. So make sure you guys are getting on there. It's code FFBAM. If you're in any of these states, you're eligible to claim it. But let's keep talking about this one, and let's go ahead and talk about the Lakers' third white boy. It's what I'm hearing people call him nowadays. The third white boy on the Lakers, it's not Reeves, it's not Doncic, it's Jake LaRavia. We were just talking about the Grizzlies. This guy came from Memphis to LA. Now his line is at 9.5. I'll tell you what, I love it at 8.5 because I think he could easily get a few threes in this game and then just end it there. But he's the kind of player that can score on multiple levels, so taking him at 10 plus points, I don't hate that at all. The only problem is Jake LaRavia is exactly the kind of player that I feel like could be, could struggle because he's facing a number one defense in the Sacramento Spurs. Why do I keep saying that? In the San Antonio Spurs, right? He's facing the number one Spurs defense. He's the kind of player that could look great against a worse defense, right? A worse defense like the one we were just talking about, the Minnesota Timberwolves. He could look great against them and drop 27 points, and then he could really struggle when it comes to facing a great defense, right? But one player who I don't think that's going to be the case for is Luka Doncic. The Spurs' defensive engine is, of course, Victor Wembanyama. And if there is one superstar, one man on earth, any player, right, that I think Wemby might not have as good of a chance at slowing down, it's number one Jokic and number two Luka Doncic, right? Luka is the kind of player that could actually not be stopped by Wemby's insane defensive gravity right now. And it's mainly because of Luka's ability to shoot three. I think Luka can shoot a lot of threes in this game. I like his three-point attempted a lot more, right? He only got 1 3 in that game against the Heat. He shot 11, and he only made 1. That's not going to fly against the Spurs. Absolutely not, right? So if we look at this. Opposing defense, this is where the Spurs are the weakest. This is a weird thing to look at, right? You want to break down the court and see where the Spurs the strongest on defense and where they actually more weak, right? Predictably, when it comes to the paint, the Spurs are absolutely locked down on defense. You don't want to take any shots, they're in the paint. Because Victor Wembanyama, when he's on the court, is going to be blocking all of those, right? But right outside the paint, which is exactly where you see Luka faking the three, jumping in here, hitting a floater. Faking a three, jumping in here, hitting the mid-range, right? That's exactly what you see Luka doing all the time, right? And a lot of times he foul bait, well, I wouldn't call it foul baiting, but he plays it smart and gets an and one on a few of those when he jumps into the defender. You guys have seen this play a million times. So have I. That's exactly what I think Luka could do again and again and again in this one against the Spurs. So that might be a little bit too in-depth of exactly the kind of plays we're looking for, but that's the kind of thing that you try to do when you are actually building out a parlay like this. You want to see, is this possible? Might this actually happen? And why might this happen, right? So Luka, 33.5, it's a high line, but we're taking it on the over. He's only missed one time, and that was against the Heat, so I like this one a lot. And then we've got to take one player on the Spurs, and people are going to hate me for this. People are going to absolutely question, what am I doing? Where's my credibility? But I'm taking Victor Wembanyama on the under on blocks. So blocks, for some reason, is not offered on any of these apps, but we're just going to go for steals and blocks. I'm taking him on the under. I firmly believe Victor Wembanyama's block line will continue to drop as he gets better at the game. Throughout this season, he's absolutely insane, right? Through the season, his statistics when it comes to the blocks category will start to fall off because players just won't shoot against him. They won't give him opportunities to block the shot because they know if it goes anywhere up in Wemby's airspace, it's coming down, right? It's not making it anywhere to the rim. And if you guys watched this Heat game, right, he had one block for 3 quarters. Then in that last quarter, literally the last 6 minutes of that fourth quarter, the Heat started to get desperate. And they started throwing up prayers towards the rim while they were in the paint. Wemby just absolutely smacked down every single one of them and then stat padded his way up to 6 blocks in a close game against the Heat, right? He was not getting blocks because they were not shooting the ball. That's exactly what I think is going to happen here with the Lakers. They're not going to shoot the ball near Wemby. He's not going to get blocks as a result of that. Do I think me taking him on the under on blocks means that I think he's a bad defender? Means that I think he's got a bad defensive impact? No. Anybody saying that, you should stop watching them because they have no idea. They don't know ball, right? Wemby's defensive impact is so great that players will not shoot the ball near him, meaning he will not get blocks. That is exactly what we're saying in this game. But also, make sure you're taking him on the over at 1 point. That's the freest one of them all. So, that's all I got for the video. 20 minutes long. I appreciate you, those of you who watched to the end. And let's make some money on NBA Wednesday.